Greetings. My name is JOEMRICH SALCEDO, and this is Midterm Group Research Project. To introduce this, the procedure for hands-on activity, the task is to design a ticket booking system in Java Swing for managing ticket sales for events. The system should enable users to select events, specify the number of tickets, view available seats, and calculate total cost. It should include a graphical interface for seat selections, allowing users to choose seats and different prices. Users can book multiple tickets of various types in a single transaction, with transaction detail stored in a JText area or transaction logs. The system will use Java Swing components like JText area, JLabel, JText field, JButton, JOption pane, JCheckbox, and JRadio button, along with a custom design interface for seat selection.
Hello, my name is GIAN Candelario, and I will be explaining this part of the code. So, the provided code snippet is a concise representation of initializing and configuring a mainframe within a Java Swing application. This segment of code plays a crucial fundamental role in establishing the graphical user interface of the application, defining its visual characteristics and behavior. At the outset, the setResizable false statement dictates that the mainframe will not be resizable by the user. This design choice might be intentional to maintain a fixed layout and prevent any unintended alterations in the GUI's appearance. Subsequently, the setDefaultClose operation jFrame.ExitOnClose function specifies the behavior of the application when the mainframe is closed. In this instance, the application is set to exit entirely, ensuring that all associated resources are properly released upon closure. The setBounds instruction establishes the size and position of the mainframe by specifying the x and y coordinates, as well as the width and height dimensions. This line precisely determines the initial appearance of the frame on the screen. Moreover, the setLocation relative to content pane command positions the mainframe centered on the screen, enhancing the user experience by providing a visual appealing layout. Following these initial setup instructions, a jPanel named Content Pane is initiated and assigned to hold the primary content on the frame. The Content Pane is a container that facilitates the organization and presentation of various GUI components within the frame. Furthermore, the Content Pane.setBorder new empty border statement configures an empty border around the content pane, ensuring that there is consistent margin between the content and the edges of the frame. Finally, the content pane setLayout to null call specifies that no layout manager will be used for the content pane. Instead, components added to the content pane will be manually positioned using absolute coordinates. While this approach offers precise control over component placement, it requires careful management to ensure proper alignment and responsiveness across different screen sizes.
Hello, I am FRENZ. I will discuss the function of JCheckbox. As you can see on the application, here there are 3 J boxes wherein it will be labeled as an event, concert, and esport. And every checkbox has their own function. For example, the user put a check on the first checkbox wherein the esport. He or she will have an access to buy a ticket, and it is the same to other checkbox. And here I will show you the code why the user have an access if checking the J checkbox. As you can see on the screen, there are code snippet wherein the J checkbox name variable checkbox esport and the text name esport. As you can see, there are action listener which is I discussed before, wherein if the user check the box, the text field and button will set true. It will also the same to other checkbox. The only difference between them is the variable name and text name.
Hi, I'm King Humphrey or AMANDY, and I will discuss the function for the esports seat plan. So firstly, to be able to select and pick for the seat plan you desire, you need to select an event. For example, you click on esports event, and the text field for the esports seat plan will be able to give you an access to enter the number of seat plan you want. After you click on cell stands for select, you will now need to select seats in the J button, which also a toggle button in esports seat plan. After that, it will be unable to click and mark as an X. Furthermore, after you select the same number on the text field and J buttons, the J option show message dialog would appear and show that you have selected your desired seats, and then if you click on OK button in the J option show message dialog, the total prices of seats would appear in the text area, and now you decide whether you will book the ticket or have another transaction. If you book the ticket, the J option input dialog would appear and ask for your payment. After the payment, it will show another J option dialog to show your total cost and change and thank you message. After that, when you press OK and it's done, it will appear on the text area and set paid. For the another transaction, it would repeat the process for you to pick another event, pick up seats, book the ticket, and ask for your payment. That's all. Thank you. So here it is a sample code for the text export box. The action performed is for the text field set enable to true and button export cell set enable to true. So it will allow you to enter a number and click the button cell. And for the text field export, we set it to enable to false. So it will rely on the checkbox. If you click on it, it will set true. Here is sample code for the button export cell. For the action performed, it has a conditional if-else statement. And for the first if statement, if you not input a number, the J option show message dialog will appear and say please enter ticket first, invalid. And for the else, it will proceed. For the second if-else statement, if you exceed on the number seats, the J option pane message dialog will show again and it says invalid number, please try again. And for the else statement, and it will export seats to true, so you can pick a seat and mark an X on it. Private method, here is the checkbox export set selected to false. So if you put check on it, it will set enable to true and set also the text field to true, so you can input a number limit to 12 because the S limit is 12 and the only seat is 12. And the buttons will set enable to true after you click the button select. Private method for the export toggle enable. This function that if you click on the J button seat number, it will mark an X on it.
Dangal greetings everyone. My name is Marimay L. FRISCO and I'll be discussing the line from 999 to 1025 and the line from 1065 to 1076. After the user has selected their event, a function will be triggered to restrict seat availability. After the user input their desired number of seats in the text field, and after receiving the input, it will confirm whether the number is negative or not. If it's not negative, it will enable all seat buttons by calling the cinema seats method with the parameter of true. This will ensure that the user can proceed with selecting seats for the chosen event. The function named cinema seats iterates through each button, checking if it corresponds to a booked seat denoted by the text X. If the seat is available for booking, indicated by the absence of X, the button's enabled status is controlled by the Boolean parameter toggle enable. When toggle enable is true, the seat button is enabled, allowing users to select it. Conversely, when toggle enable is false, the button is disabled, preventing further selection. As users make their seat selections, each click triggers the Cinema Seat Check method to manage the seat selection process. This method updates relevant data such as the number of selected seats, cinema cell num, available seat limit, Cine limit, and total sales. If all desired seats have been selected, the Cinema Seats function is invoked to disable all seat buttons, ensuring that users cannot make additional selections. A message dialog informs the user that their desired seats have been selected, providing clarity and confirmation. Additionally, the total sales are displayed in a text area, offering users a comprehensive summary of their transaction.
I am ALYSSA Grace R. Brillante, and I am here to discuss the concert seat part. So this part of code, which is the button console, is a JButton object created with the JLabel cell, short for select. So it's created and configured with a small font size, Tahoma, and positioned on the content pane of a Swing application. Initially, it's set to be disabled set enabled false, which means it won't respond to user clicks. An action listener is added to button console. This means when the button is clicked, the code inside the action perform method will be executed. Inside the action perform method, it parses an integer from the text entered in a text field named text field concert. It checks if the entered number, which is the console num, is valid for booking seats. If it's greater than con limit, less than 1, or equal to 0, it shows an error message dialog stating, invalid number, please try again, using J option pane. If the number is within the valid range, it calls the concert seat method with true as an argument. It also disables several components, which are text field concert, checkbox concert, checkbox cinema, checkbox concert, and button console to prevent further interaction once the booking is done. Another JButton named button book is created with the label book ticket. When clicked, it executes the action perform method of its action listener, which calls the book ticket method and then clear method. These methods likely handle the booking process and clearing or resetting of fields, respectively. Additionally, there's a JScroll pane containing a JText area that displays some information to the user, such as booking details or messages. Now, for this part of code, which is about buttons in the concert seat, button CS Seat 1 is a JButton object. It's created with a small font size, Tahoma, and positioned on the content pane of a Swing application. Initially, it's set to be disabled, which is the set enabled false, which means it won't respond to user clicks. An action listener is added to button CS Seat 1. This means when the button is clicked, the code inside the action perform method will be executed. Inside the action perform method, it calls the method conSeatCheck with the argument 250, which means the price of the seat. This method is responsible for checking the availability of the seat and possibly booking if it's available. It then disables button CS Seat 1 to prevent further clicks on this seat button. It changes the text of BTN CS Seat 1 to X. This changes indicates that the seat is now unavailable or booked. The same goes for button CS Seat 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. The only difference is that the price of seat 7 to 12 is much cheaper than seat 1 to 6.
Greetings everyone. My name is Leonard Andrei R. Samaniego, and I'm here to explain the lines of code involved on the buttons book ticket and another transaction on our project ticket booking system. So first, it begins with a JButton named BTN book with the label book ticket. Then an action listener is then attached to this button, which defines the action perform method. Inside this method, two functions are called: book ticket method from line 866 to 881 and clear method from line 882 to 889. The book ticket function is private and performs several tasks. First, it clears the user interface using the clear method. Then, it prompts the user to enter a payment amount through a J option pane input dialog and converts the input to an integer. Moving forward, it then checks if the total sales amount is greater than the payment. If it is, an error message is displayed. Otherwise, it calculates the change, display a message with the total cost, change, and thank you note. Finally, it clears the user interface again, such as the text fields and checkboxes. It resets the total sales into 0 and appends a message to a text area indicating that the payment was successful. So the next function that is called is the clear method. So basically, it is responsible for resetting various user interface elements related to checkboxes and text fields. It sets the selected state of 3 checkboxes to false and clears the text content of 3 text fields associated with these checkboxes. So the next button I will be discussing is the another transaction. So this block of code defines a J button name btn another trans with the label another transaction. And an action listener is then added to this button. And inside the action perform method of this action listener, a function called clear method is called. So the clear function selects 3 checkboxes for esports, cinema, and concerts by setting their selected state to false. Additionally, it clears the text content of 3 text fields associated with these text boxes. Overall, the purpose of these code segments is to handle user interaction when the another transaction button is clicked. And upon clicking this button, the user interface is reset to its initial state by clearing checkbox selections and text field contents. Additionally, it enables the checkboxes which might have been disabled during a previous transaction, allowing the user to initiate a new transaction.
So, dangal greetings everyone. I am HAIDEE FAJARDO and I will be talking about the total sales and the text area. So, for the total sales, here is the code for it. It creates a label which is LBL sales to display the total sales. It sets the text of the label to total sales, specifies the font as Tahoma with bold style and size 13, and sets its positions and dimensions within a container which is content pane. This label will likely be used to visually represent the total sales amount within the user interface. For the text area, here is the code for it. It is to display additional information such as the selected seats or current total sales. It configures a scroll pane to contain the text area, sets the text area to be non-editable, and adjusts its font to Rockwell with a plain style and size 19. This text area will likely be used to provide dynamic feedback or information to the user, such as updates on seat selections or the current total sales amount. The text area is also used within the program, so here are those. The connection between the eSeat check, CineSeat check, and ConSeat check methods and the text area is that each of these methods appends a message containing the current total sales to the text area. This allows for the dynamic updating of the text area to display the total sales amount as seats are selected or deselected by the user. So for the next one is the book ticket method. The book ticket method utilizes the text area to provide feedback and record transaction details for the user. Specifically, after completing the transaction, it appends a note confirming payment completion to the text area. It is displayed as paid in the text area. This integration ensures that the user receives immediate feedback within the interface, enhancing transparency and providing a clear record of the transaction process. So for the last one, it is the clear to method or the clear all button. The clear to method or the clear all button clears the content of the text area ensuring that any previous information displayed in the text area is removed when resetting the user interface elements. This ensures that the text area is ready to display new information or messages after the reset process is completed.
Greetings everyone. My name is JOEMRICH MEJIA, and I'll be discussing the line 863 to 963. So these two methods responsible for clearing and resetting components in the fields. The methods names are clear and clear 2. So in the first method, in the clear, as you can see, clear selection and text field related to the different event types, which is this part, cinema, and concert. This will uncheck the checkboxes, and this part is empties the text field. So in the method 2, this will extend the clear functionality. Here in the checkbox or in the text field, this will call clear selection and text field for events and reset limits for each event type. This part is enable checkboxes for event selection, and this part of the code seat selection buttons for all seats for all event types, and reset the text of the seat selection buttons to their initial state.
Greetings everyone, I am Larren Rosales, and I am going to show you a brief demonstration of the program. So now that we have discussed the code of the program, let us now proceed to how the program behaves when it's actually run. So I have the program already running right here, and the program by default, when it's ran, has all the seat buttons, the text fields, and the select buttons disabled, so there will be no unnecessary or unwanted actions to be executed. The only ones enabled are here, the checkboxes. So by default, there will be instructions here at the bottom, and the seat prices or the ticket prices. So for the first row of the sport, we have 50 pesos, and for its second row, 40 pesos. The cinema, first row, 300 pesos, second row, and you can read it all here. So let's say the user, me, wants to pick a seat at the sport event. Or what if I also want to pick a seat for the cinema? What if I wanted the concert? Let's go for it, right? So if the checkbox is, of course, checked, the text fields and the select button will be enabled. So what does this actually do? This select button, this text field rather, enables the user to input the number of tickets that the user will want to avail, and the select button confirms it. So let's say I want 3 tickets for the sport. So let's say 3. Once I click the select button, it will enable the seat button, so it will show that all the seats in the esports seat plan are available or vacant. So let's say 3 tickets, 1, 2, so 2 on the first row and 1 on the second row. As you can see, depending on what amount of tickets that the user has typed, so in this case 3, you will be only limited to 3 seats to occupy. So as you can see, it automatically detected that I already picked 3 seats, and it said here, while popping up a message dialog for the option pane, that I have already selected my desired seats. So let's click OK, and you can see that the buttons are already disabled. The buttons and the text fields here in the esports seat plan are already disabled because I already finished my seat choosing depending on the number of the desired seats that I want. And in this case, the seats that I picked are already marked to the next, meaning that I already picked them. So the same goes for the cinema seat plan and concert seat plan. Let's say 3 again. As I select or click the select button, which basically confirms my input, I will be presented with the seat buttons that are now enabled. So let's say 1 on the front row and 2 on the second row. As you can see, you have already selected your desired seats. Same goes for the countered seat plan. 3 again. 1, 2, 3. You have already selected your desired seats. And as you can see, for every seat that we have picked, the program manages to calculate all of the costs of the seats that you have picked. So currently, I have 1,690 pesos that the seats have costed. So let's say I want to book the ticket now. As you can see, it will pop up a input message which basically wants me to input my payment amount or the amount of money that I'm going to pay for the ticket. So let's say 2,000. As you can see, it shows another message dialog which displays my current total cost of my picked or chosen tickets, and my change. So let's click OK, and it will actually confirm the payment by showing that in the text area, which shows the paid message. So let's say I want another transaction. So after having the tickets booked, all the buttons here, even the checkboxes, are disabled. To enable the checkboxes, just like how it was shown during our initial program running, let's just click another transaction. Let's say I want esports for now. And oh no, I accidentally typed -2. Wouldn't that be wrong? It is indeed wrong, because in the program itself, any value that is considered that is below 1 will be considered by the program invalid. So invalid number, please try again. So let's try again, shall we? Let's say 2. I want to invite another 2 friends, so let's confirm that. And as you can see, all the available seats have been enabled, except for those that I have been occupied previously. As you can see, those that are marked with an X are no longer enabled because it's already occupied. Why would you want to avail a seat that is already occupied anyway? So let's say 2 seats for another 2 friends. 1, 2. And again, it shows me that I have already selected my desired seats depending on the number of the seats that I want to avail. So now it's going to be marked with an X, and it's going to compute again my total cost of the seats that I have taken. So it's 80 pesos since it's 2 second row seats. And as you can see, it wasn't added to my previous current total price because I already paid for it. I already paid for that transaction. So let's say that's all the tickets that I want to avail. So let's book. How about if I input an exact amount of payment? So 80. Our current total price is 80 pesos. I will input 80 pesos as my payment. As you can see, it shows the total cost of my purchase, which is 80 pesos, and my change, which is, of course, nothing, 0. And confirm that. And again, it will show that I have already paid for my current transaction. Okay, so basically you're done. You have already paid for your seats, for your tickets, picked your desired seats from the various events, and now you can just, if you want, clear it all. You can use this clear all button. What it does is basically resets everything in the entire program and to its state where it was first ran. So basically its default state where everything was disabled and the only ones enabled are the checkboxes. Basically it deletes all the transactions, so you're not going to see anything anymore on the total sales text area. So if you're done and you want to clear it all, click the clear all button. And as you can see, deletes everything from the text area. The occupied seats are now vacant again. As you can see, the X marks are now gone. And the select buttons are now disabled and the text fields are now empty. And the only ones that are enabled are the checkboxes. So that's that. Well, I hope you found this program interesting and thank you for watching.